And I don't think we have got communication to the effect of putting our team in the team. But I think it's something that I can follow with the committee chairs, because I don't think we have made much progress on this. On the question that Senator Boni Alwale asked on policy regarding members of parliament who serve for the 2 terms, don't win re-election, and then starts enjoying pension, and then when they come back. It is the way the law is crafted now, that once you enjoy the pension, when you come back, either you choose to pay, to buy back the pension, and then you continue, and then when now you retire, the 4 terms will be counted cumulatively, or you forfeit, or you forgo. So, but there is an amendment to that effect that is being processed, so that we can allow former members who served for some terms and have come back to enjoy seamlessly the pension without that kind of a challenge. But the way the law is today, if you start enjoying benefits of pension, like myself today, if I come back again to Parliament, then I have to either buy back that period that I enjoyed the pension, or I forgo. So that is the law as it is today. Majority Leader, I agree with you that there has been challenges in terms of when pensioners leave employment and get into pension, they wait for too long to get their pension because of system challenges, but there are also other issues around delayed payment of pension, some of which is with those agencies or ministries where they're working, where you find the processing of files become a challenge, that files are lost, members move from one office to the other. We have even had cases reported of corruption getting into the system, and that is why we want to integrate the system. We want to automate the system. When you leave system to manual, there is bound to be abused, and that is what the ministry is taking steps to ensure that that is dealt with. Now, I think Senator Fumuranga is asking that the abuse of Article 223 is the one that is denying pensioners money or reallocation of pension fund. I am not aware of any pension allocation that has ever been reallocated in any way. Actually, if there is any particular location that is always ring-fenced, it is the pension. It is the CFS going to pension. So that is not correct. Yes, there could be abuse of Article 223, which we are trying to work on. But again, you'll also agree with me that that article was not provided in the Constitution in vain. The people of Kenya considered that there could be circumstances that would merit or warrant provision of additional funds that was not appropriated by Parliament or National Assembly for that matter. So if there are abuses, those abuses have to be dealt with, because this one is within the powers of the Cabinet Secretary for Finance. On the issue of poster employees and KCC, RBA has already put staff receivers in place to work out on how to pay these creditors, along which part of the creditors are former employees, because these are companies that faced challenges, especially Posta, the pension scheme for Posta. So there is already a process going on to make sure that that is addressed. Finally, on Senator Eddie Okech's question of defrauding pensioners by banks, if we automate, this automatically will be dealt with through automation. When you allow manual systems, it is open to abuse. And we have also identified that some pensioners have been defrauded through collusion, even between pension staff and also the bank staff. And that is something that we're addressing through automation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We will now move to question number 035 by the Senator for Kirinyaga County, Honorable James Murango. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My questions are as follows. A, Could the Cabinet Secretary provide a breakdown of all taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain? And B, what specific taxation measures is the Ministry planning to implement in the financial year 2025-2026 to eliminate double taxation on other unnecessary taxes that overburden farmers and stakeholders in the tea industry? And last, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the challenges faced in previous attempts to eliminate some of these excessive taxes and levies on tea and explain actions taken to address them? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond. Now, Honorable CS, I note that the response is fairly lengthy. In the interest of time, please just try to paraphrase it, because we have, we already have hard copies with us. We'll be following as you paraphrase.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I notice also that my response is fairly too long. I will not go through my response in the traditional way. So, question number 35 by Senator James Murango was on taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain during Senate plenary. The first page is basically talking about the significance and importance of tea as the tea subsector as one of the drivers of economic growth in this country. We all know the contribution of tea to our economy. So I've just explained that in line with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, or better if you like. Now, in the financial year 23-24, the government implemented a number of interventions specifically for the tea subsector, which included provision of processing equipment to tea cooperatives and establishment of a tea value addition hub and promotion of investment into the hub, export market development and export promotion, and provision of fiscal incentives and establishment of warehouses for value-added tea in key development markets. So these are reforms that are ongoing. I've also indicated how much tea has been contributing to our economy. Export earnings, I've already also explained how much we are getting in terms of export earning contributed by tea subsector. So in the financial year 25-26, as outlined in our budget policy statement of 2025, the government will be executing the following key intervention to further boost the tea subsector, and that is already enumerated: value addition, market development, farmer support. So these are explanations about what the government is doing, and infrastructure, putting up infrastructure, especially like in Dongo Kundu, special economic zone, and constructing research and development facilities for tea. So coming back to the question, where I was asked to explain or provide a breakdown of all taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain, I want to say that tea subsector benefits from numerous tax incentives, in fact, that supports its growth and sustainability, making it a thriving subsector. So this subsector is one of the subsectors that is actually cushioned, that is actually enjoying incentives, as opposed to getting to a sector that is subjected to additional taxes. So there is no VAT. I've just explained some of the exemptions or tax incentives, especially on VAT. I have said that there is no VAT charged at this level, at the farming level for tea. There is no VAT on inputs such as fertilizers. There is no, there is agricultural services are exempt from VAT. Agricultural farming tractors are exempt from VAT. I've also indicated that imported agricultural machinery used for land preparation are duty-free, but only attract VAT at 16%. Railway development levies at 2%. IDF is at 2.5% of the customs value. Tea processing, 100% investment deduction by tea factories located outside the cities of Nairobi, Mombasa, or Kisumu are also exempt. In fact, I think we should now add Eldoret and Nakuru, although there is also a thinking that we should remove this requirement at all of only cities, because cities are becoming many, and again, we feel it is unfair to the cities. Machinery used for tea processing is currently duty-free under EAC common tariff, external tariff. Income of an entity, including tea processing factories, are charged corporation tax at the rate of 30% like any other factory. Processed tea sold in the domestic market is subjected to VAT at 16%. Transportation services on unprocessed tea are exempt from VAT, unprocessed green tea is VAT exempt, and locally purchased tea for value addition before exportation is zero rated. Marketing and distribution. Under marketing, tea brokerage services enjoy exemption from VAT. Locally purchased tea for value addition before exportation is zero rated. So, Honorable Speaker, manufacturers of packaging materials locally for uses by exporters of locally produced goods such as tea and horticultural products import raw materials duty-free under the ESC duty remission scheme. Packaging materials of all goods, including packaging for tea, also attract 16% like any other. Imported packaging materials attract excise duty at the 25% of the excise value, but I will give the latest information about that. Various government agencies charges fees or levies for services rendered to producers or manufacturers. Now, but I want to just point out, Honorable Speaker, two things. That in the finance bill of 2025, we have done two things. Number one, we are proposing to exempt packaging materials used for tea and coffee from VAT. This exemption will only apply when packaging materials are imported or locally purchased, with a recommendation from the Cabinet Secretary responsible for agriculture, given that the use of these materials isn't exclusive to coffee and tea packaging. This measure aims to protect these crucial sectors while also safeguarding government revenue. But the second thing that we have done is under custom duty. On the custom side, Mr. Speaker, last year, Kenya was granted a stay of application of the ESC Common External Tariff on certain paper products to apply a higher duty rate of 25 to 35% to support domestic packaging materials. However, this negatively impacted exporters, such as the tea industry. To address this, Kenya did not request an extension of the stay of application of the ESC Common External Tariff on these paper products during this year's ESC pre-budget consultations, which I led in Arusha. And actually now, Mr. Speaker, I want to report that we have gone back to the ESC CET rates of 10% like any other country in the East African region. On question number 35B, what specific taxation measures is the ministry planning to implement in the financial year 25-26 to eliminate double taxation and other necessary taxes that overburden farmers and stakeholders in the tea industry? I wish to respond as follows. I would like to clarify that there is no double taxation in the tea subsector. As regards to specific tax measures for the coming financial year, we are currently reviewing submissions from the public, but we have already reviewed the submissions from the public anyway. I think this answer should be amended to read that we have already considered and have just read some of the steps that we are taking to reduce taxation, which would support the tea subsector. So I have mentioned that the various incentives. I don't want to repeat them again. I want to go straight to 35C, Mr. Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary outline the challenges faced in previous attempts to eliminate some of these taxes and levies on tea and explain action taken to address them? I wish to respond as follows. While there may be challenges affecting the tea subsector, Honorable Speaker, the national government continues to extend numerous incentives to the subsectors outlined above. From consultation with the regulations of the tea subsector, various actions by various government entities are ongoing to address the burden of the fees or levies in the tea subsector. Some of these measures include enactment of Tea Act 2020, which reduced the management fee payable by tea factories from 2.5% to 1.5%, thus saving tea farmers approximately 1 billion annually from management fee to Kenya Tea Development Authority. There is the ad valorem levy of 1% of the customs value of exported teas, which was scrapped in 2016. The agricultural produce cess of 1% of green leaf was also scrapped in 2016, saving quite significant amount. And since July 2016, the government replaced the levy scrapped with a government grant to fund operations of Tea Research Institute and Tea Board of Kenya, which support the tea industry development programs such as research in tea, trade promotion, and market development, amongst others. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, Kenya's tea industry remains a vital pillar of our economy, supporting millions of livelihoods and contributing significantly to national development. Through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the government is committed to strengthening the tea value chain to ensure sustainable growth. I thank you.
Honorable Senator James Mrango, you may ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Asante sana, Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, swali langu la kwanza zilikuwa kwa takwimu waziri aweze kupeana zile anda na kondi zote ambazo zinalipwa na wakulima majani chai. Mstahiki Speaker, nimeona amejibu na kusema venye serikali inafanya ambayo ni sawa, lakini jibu langu hakujibu. Mstahiki Speaker, kulingana na nakala niko nazo, mkulima majani chai kutoka mbunge la kitaifa, kutoka serikali kuu mpaka zile za ugatuzi, analipa anda na kulipa kondi tofauti 42. Na nilipokuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya ukulima, tulikuwa tumekaa chini na kuwa tumeelewana kwamba serikali itajaribu kupunguza hizi. Lakini kwa sababu ambazo sijaelewa, waziri hakuziweka wazi. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kusema, Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa swali hilo sikuridhika na majibu ambayo waziri amepeana siku ya leo. Kwa sababu, Mstahiki Speaker, nilikuwa natarajia kama ni taasisi ama halmashauri ya kuokota kondi, inaokota kondi zaidi ya 5 hapa. Ukiangalia halmashauri ya Nema ina kondi inaokota. Ukiangalia kama ni taasisi yafa kuna kondi inaokota. Ili tuweze Mstahiki Speaker, kujibu swali na kuendelea mbele, ningeomba waziri anapoenda anijibu hili swali ili niweze kusema na asema. Swali la pili, Mstahiki Speaker, ni kwamba katika bunge la kitaifa kuna nakala ambazo waziri aliweza kupeleka pale mwaka huu, ambayo ilikuwa ina kondi mpya ambazo zilikuwa zinafaa pia kutozwa wakulima kahawa. Mstahiki Speaker, hiyo sheria bado iko katika bunge la kitaifa na niko na nakala hapa ambayo iliwekwa katika gazeti la serikali. Ningetaka kuuliza waziri, kilimo cha msingi kitawekwa kondi mpaka lini? Kwa sababu nchi zinazoendelea kilimo cha msingi hakiwekangi kondi na anda ili mkulima aweze kunufaika na mazao yake. Asante sana, Mstahiki Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, I tried to put together some of the taxes that are and levies that are put or charged on tea, right from the farming level. I put a paragraph. The tea processing, I put a paragraph. Marketing and distribution, I also put a paragraph. If the honorable member has any other levies that need not to be there, I think the best thing to do is to recommend for those levies to be removed. But as far as I'm concerned, I have enumerated what I am aware of are taxes and levies on tea. I think he has talked about some amendment that is in Parliament to put some charges on coffee. Yes. Maybe you, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, you can explain again. You can come and repeat the question again.
Mstahiki Speaker, ukinipa nafasi nitamwonyesha waziri.
Honorable CS, if you need time to acquaint yourself with that particular document, you may say so.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to check because my understanding was that we were reducing those rates. And so it's just demonstrated to me the rates that are on the first schedule and the second schedule. My understanding is that those rates were coming down. But if they are going up, I may need to check and address that. But I am almost certain that the rates were higher than what is being provided. And so what we were trying to do is to reduce the rates to make coffee more competitive, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honourable Speaker, in line with a question by the Senator for Kirinyaga on measures to reduce double taxation, unnecessary taxes, and overburdening of farmers and Kenyans in general, I would like the CS to address one question. Honourable Speaker, we have had the ministry, actually the CS himself, taking credit that this year's finance bill has no new taxes. But I know it's credit to the Gen Z who have struck the fear of God in this government. They will not attempt to bring new taxes. What are you doing about existing taxation, Cabinet Secretary, that you found, including the housing levy, the increase in pay, and VAT on fuel, that has seen the cost of taxes on a litre of petrol exceeding the cost of the product? I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Senator Mofai.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Mine is a supplementary question. CS Treasury. Honourable Speaker, this country has witnessed for decades some grievous disparities in distribution of environments across the country. Talk of roads, talk of water, talk of industries and so forth. So as the minister in charge of the National Granary, is there any written policy that is supposed to guide you on how you are supposed to distribute the national developments? And I'm asking this, Honourable Speaker, on behalf of very many Kenyans. You find some areas have been neglected for decades. Other areas are endowed with better roads, water, and so forth and so forth. Is there any existing policy, for that matter, that a Kenyan can quote maybe from Tharaka or from Northeastern or from any other part of this country where there are no such kind of developments? What is it, what criteria do you use to determine where you are supposed to put up roads, where you are supposed to put up water, and so forth and so forth? Is there any existing policy for that matter? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable CS, you may, if in a position to respond to that question, you may, because it is not related to the primary question. The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have a question to the Cabinet Secretary in regards to his response on page 6. Unfortunately, Minister, I'll have to tell you that none of these items that you have listed was done to the tea farmers. This is a topic very close to my heart, and therefore I know every single intervention that is done. In the fiscal year that you're referring to, 2023-2024, you have quoted in your response, Mr. Minister, that there was provision of processing equipments to tea cooperatives. It is now in this financial year that there's an attempt to put 3.5 billion shillings to support aging tea factories. And even that, I'm not sure whether the National Assembly Budget Committee will maintain it. So I'll have the Minister check with his records and the people in the ministry whether any of this has been done, because to the best of my knowledge, there is no tea cooperative that was supported with this. With regards to establishment of this, what is calling Tea Value Addition Hub, construction is yet to begin of the common user facility that the government promised tea farmers in the country. And therefore, it will be important for the minister to let us know when construction of this common user facility will commence. There was a promise of 1 billion shillings to KTDA through its subsidiary Ketepa that this was going to be set up in Kericho. I do not know to this date, Mr. Speaker, when that facility will be available for farmers. The same can be said, Mr. Speaker, about Part C of his question, because it needs to be quantifiable. If the minister had given us the specific figure of how much that export market development the government committed to, we'd appreciate, because it is one of the interventions that we seriously need. Lastly, Speaker, just a comment to the minister, because, you know, we are representatives of people, and when there's an opportunity, I appreciate that transportation of tea to factories is VAT exempted. I do not understand, Mr. Minister, why in every finance bill, last year it had to be removed, and even in this year's proposal, transportation of sugarcane to factories is subject to VAT. I don't know why at Treasury they want to treat tea farmers and sugarcane farmers separately, yet they are all citizens of this republic. So while I appreciate what is done for tea farmers, I'd wish that the Treasury does the same for sugarcane farmers as well. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll try to be fast. Yes, it is true that we have not made major changes in taxes that would disadvantage the taxpayer or individual taxpayers in terms of reducing their disposable income. And this was a commitment. Yes, I know Senator Sifuna is attributing it exclusively to Gen Z. Partly true, partly not true. Honorable Senator Sifuna very well knows my stand on taxes. Even before I joined the cabinet or the executive, I am one person who does not believe that higher taxes would lead to more revenue or higher tax rates. And that is my stand. I've spoken about it. Maybe we share that idea with Gen Zs, but so it cannot be exclusively the Gen Z's ideas. And I think the government is also sold into the idea that now, where we have reached, we cannot go further to reduce disposable income. On housing levy, I think there is a discussion around seeing how to restructure it, because again, it has serious benefits, in my view. Quite a number of projects are coming up, but at the same time, the individual employees, those with pay slips, have complaints, which you cannot ignore. So a lot of restructuring is going on, and I am sure that more pronouncements will come in due course. On the issue of payee, again, also we are looking, actually this financial year, when we were preparing the finance bill, we even did some simulation on how to reduce the pay as you earn. But what stopped us from implementing it with this finance bill, and I think we are going to consider it in the next finance bill, alongside the reduction of corporation tax or corporate tax from 30% to 28%, we considered reducing to 28%, was the failure by KRA to meet its revenue targets. And so we thought that as we carry along with the reforms at the KRA, we should not be doing too many things at the same time. First, let us see what the reforms at KRA, in terms of automation and in terms of making it efficient, is yielding to us. Then we can now move to the next step of reducing the tax rates to increase disposable income. But it is an idea that I support, Senator Sifuna. And that also goes to the heart of fuel levy or road maintenance levy. On distribution of development across the country, yes, Senator, it is true, Mr. Speaker, that over the years since independence, that we have not been very fair and objective as a country in terms of distributing or budgetary allocations to regions. And this is what has brought the tension that we have in the country, where people believe that for you to get development, then your people should be the ones in power. And I think devolution was meant to cure this, but it's still at the same time, still it has not been fully cured. We are trying, and it is not something that you are going to do in a day, to try as much as possible to be equitable in the distribution of resources. And I think the budget that we have produced addresses it to some extent. It has not fixed it, but addresses it. Take, for example, and I've given this example, that since independence, the children in Tana River have been eaten by crocodiles as they crossed River Tana going to school. For bridges, one bridge costing just 100 million, yet you find many of us have tarmac roads up to our homes. It is not fair. So many of us have tarmac roads up to our homes. So many of us have piped water in their houses, even in rural areas. Yet Tana River, those children, for just 100 million, have been eaten by crocodile. That is, we cannot live in such a country of iniquity. So, inequitable resource distribution. Remember, for the first time, I want to say here, Dadab constituency, for example, is going to see
30 seconds more.
the first tarmac road. And I can go on and on. You see the first major road in northern Kenya being under construction since independence, from all the way from Meru, Isiolo, going to Garissa, Wajir, all the way to Mandera. 740 kilometers being done in this government to enhance equity. Now the majority leader talked about. I can just answer the majority leader by saying that I am going to follow through some of these initiatives, including the support to tea cooperatives, common user facility, and all that. We have put some allocation in the budget. I hope they will not be taken away by the National Assembly. And then I will make sure that the monies are released, or the exchequer is released to support the tea sector. Thank you very much.
We now move to question number 048 by the Senator for Kisumu, Honorable Tom Ojenda. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I am very much aware that you are constrained by time, but you know, Mr. Speaker, when members are asking questions not related to the subject matter, as we come from areas that you know the best in the world, and under question to the CS, but when now we start digressing and we don't ask the prime questions, Mr. Speaker, then some of us will be lost. So, Mr. Speaker, can you give me a latitude just to ask him one question? So that
Honorable Senators, this is not for me to tell you. The standing orders are very clear. On if you read Standing Order 51C, 7A, and B, it's very clear that one, you need to ask one question, and that one question must be related to the primary question. Now, if you take to the floor and give us a speech, time doesn't stop running. For those who feel they have more questions to ask the CS on this particular subject, you can always post that question, and we'll invite the CS to come back. This should not be the end of responding to questions related to taxes on agricultural produce. Senator Tom Ojenda, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 48 goes to the CS Treasury, CS John Bardi. It's in four parts. The first part, what immediate measures are being implemented by the government to address the extensive days in processing pension claims for retired civil servants of various levels, Mr. Speaker? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide a timeline for full digitization of pension records and transition to an end-to-end enterprise resource planning ERP system for a more streamlined process? That's part one of the question. Mr. Speaker, part two is on the processing of pension and the pervasive corruption claims. How is the ministry addressing the pervasive corruption and bribery within the pensions department, including claims of pension payment to non-existent or ghost pensioners? Part three, Mr. Speaker, what is being done to ensure that pension funds, which have persistently faced significant carryovers due to underfunding and liquidity challenges, are prioritized and allocated adequate funding in future budgets? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, part D, could the CS Treasury explain why any proposed regulatory reforms aimed at harmonizing outdated pension laws with contemporary digital financial management practices? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These questions are born out of the delays in payment to pensioners. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. Now we have 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes to be utilized by the CS in responding to the question, and also to be utilized by honorable senators in asking supplementary questions.
Yeah.
Now, honorable CS, your response is fairly lengthy. Please paraphrase it to allow honorable senators time to interact with your response.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I'll take 3 minutes just to go through the response. I'll not read it verbatim. Measures being implemented to address delays in pension processing and the transition to a digitized pension system. A number of steps we are taking for comprehensive review. 1 is timely submission of retirement notices. Employers are required to notify employees of retirement at least 1 year in advance and to submit pension claims to the pension department 9 months before the official retirement age. Number 2, verification and documentation. Pension payments are contingent on complete and accurate documentation from retirees and employers. Incomplete submission, disputes, or litigation. Number 3 is processing at the pension department. Once a complete pension claim is received, the department processes it within 90 days, as stipulated in the National Treasury Citizens Service Delivery Charter. Then we have exchequer releases, which is also another challenge. Payment of pension gratuities depends on the availability of funds, which is influenced by national revenue inflows. So to improve efficiency, these are the measures that we have taken. 1 is deployment of pension officers to key MDS. So we have made sure that key MDS, like TSC and others, have pension officers. The National Treasury has deployed 18 pension officers to the Teacher Service Commission, for example, to expedite the verification and submission of the pension claims. Number 2, strict enforcement of early submission policies. MDAs are mandated to submit pension claims 9 months before an officer's retirement date. Number 3, system enhancements and technical support. That is, Pensions Management Information System is undergoing significant upgrades to reduce manual interventions and improve efficiency, and also enhance data security. Review of the pension legal framework is also being undertaken to align with emerging needs and improve the sustainability and efficiency of pension payments. National Retirement Benefits Policy. The Cabinet has approved the National Retirement Benefits Policy, which was approved on 3rd November 2023. This policy aims to harmonize retirement benefits, improve governance, and enhance sector growth. Public awareness and sensitization is also ongoing, is also being conducted, workshops being conducted, and sensitization programs on retirement. Recruitment of additional pension officers. To enhance processing capacity, the Treasury recruited additional pension officers in 2021, followed by 6 deputy directors in 2024, with specialized expertise in pension administration. Number 8 is the re-engineering of the pension management information system. The Treasury has onboarded a contractor to develop an enterprise resource planning solution which fully digitizes pension, and that online claim submission will be done, self-service portal, automated approvals, integration with key government databases is also being addressed. So number B was the question. So the system is expected to be fully rolled out by 1st July 2025. This will help us now, like what I said before, that we will automatically transit those who are from the payroll to the pension payroll. Addressing corruption and bribery in pension administration. First, we are doing the following. Strict pension verification procedures that is being instituted, and this will help us reduce errors, fraudulent submissions, and unauthorized payments. Collaboration with financial institutions, like the case that Senator Eti Okech spoke to earlier. We are working with commercial banks and financial institutions to monitor dormant pension accounts, flag suspicious activity, and prevent unauthorized withdrawals. Open plan office layouts. Pension Department has restructured its office setup to enhance transparency and accountability, reducing opportunities for unethical conduct. Decentralization of pension services through Huduma centers, following retirees to access services without unnecessary bureaucracy or middlemen. Number 5 is integration with the National Death Registry. The Treasury is integrating biometric verification with the National Civil Registry to detect deceased pensioners in real time and prevent continued payments to non-existent beneficiaries. Biometric pension verification and e-pension system has also been implemented. Collaboration with the investigative agencies to deter cases of corruption. Now, number C is ensuring adequate budgetary allocation for pension payments. That was also asked. The Treasury is committed to ensuring that pension obligations are fully funded and liquidity challenges are minimized. And to achieve this, prioritization of pension payments. Pension payments are treated as a first charge obligation in the national budget, ensuring they are allocated sufficient funds. So it is in the CFS as a first charge. Addressing carryovers and cash flow constraints. Outstanding pension obligations due to cash flow challenges are prioritized in the subsequent budget cycle. Like 2023-24, we carried forward 23 billion. That is pension unpaid at the end of the financial year. That became the first charge and was paid in the 2024-25. But that has also put a strain on our 2024-25 finances. But now I'm happy to report that as we speak, in fact, between 30th of April and 21st of May, it would interest you, Mr. Speaker and the honorable members, that within those 3 weeks, we paid a total of 17 billion, 17.4 billion to the pensioners. And now we have a balance to pay of only 16.9. So compared to last year, when we carried over 23, up to date, and the year is not yet over, we have 16.9 billion to pay. And I think we are going to do much better than last year, although we should do 100%. Addressing carryovers, I've spoken to. Timely issuance of monthly pensions, again, that is one of the steps that we are taking. Regulatory framework for pension administration. The National Retirement Benefit Policy approved in November 23, together with the provisions of the Constitution, provide the foundation for modernizing and aligning pension laws with contemporary economic and demographic realities. In line with this, the government is implementing key regulatory reforms, which are as follows. The legal reforms, we have on the scope, the Task Force on Public Service Pensions Legal Framework, formally appointed on 17 September 2024, is tasked with reviewing existing pension laws and identifying gaps and hinder effective service delivery. Then there is legislative and regulatory amendments. The task force will propose comprehensive reforms to enhance efficiency. Then we are also doing benchmarking with international standards. The review will incorporate lessons from countries with well-established pension system to ensure a robust and globally competitive pension framework. Number 2, engineering the pension management information system. Again, I talked about this, eliminating paper-based processes, empowering pensioners with self-service capabilities, accelerating processing through automated approvals, enhancing security and accuracy through system integration. So the key here is automation. If you automate pension system, as we have indicated, then you'll solve a number of these issues. And I've said from 1st July, we are onboarding the system, and it will enhance efficiency. Now, finally, I think is reforms to enhance financial sustainability, transition from defined benefits to defined contribution. To enhance sustainability, the defined benefit scheme cannot work, because again, with the life expectancy going up, and with meager or limited resources made available through budgetary provision, we can't sustain this. So the new system of public service superannuation scheme is going to help us a lot in addressing these pension challenges going forward, because we are going to have defined contribution system that is already rolled out, and this has been done out of actuarial calculations, and it is a better system. So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the National Treasury recognizes and values the contribution of retired civil servants, remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring that their pension benefits are processed efficiently, transparently, and without undue delays. The measures outlined above are transformational and will ensure that Kenya's pensions administration is modernized, digitized, and aligned with international best practices. I submit.
Honorable Ojenda, you may now ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did not declare that both the CS, myself, and Senator Sifuna are in this broad-based government, but I will still ask the follow-up question, Mr. Speaker. But it is true. It is true. It is true. Mr. Speaker, let me proceed.
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Honorable Speaker, I get extremely irritated every time people come here, and instead of addressing the matter at hand, it is irrelevant. What sort of contribution is that? And we have very limited time to engage with the CS. Could you stop the senator from engaging in sideshows?
Senator for Kisumu, the rule on irrelevance
Mr. Speaker,
applies.
I will move to the question.
Stick
The point
to the matter at hand, please.
Mr. Speaker, that's okay. Mr. Speaker, my supplementary question is on the point that the CS has addressed, the public superannuation pension scheme. Mr. CS, address us why there has been delay in processing pension funds for police officers and retired TSC officers under the public service superannuation pension scheme. And when will this be paid? Because there's a delay, a patent and palpable delay. But we are still in the same system. Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Senator Ojienda. Yes, we have noticed, it has come to our knowledge that there is a delay in processing of pension entitlements to various civil servants under this public service superannuation scheme. And this has been occasioned by lack of policy guidelines, which we have processed, and we are almost concluding. And the moment that is done, then the pensions will be processed more or less like 2 weeks. So it is something that we are acting on. We are aware, we are alive to that challenge, and we are addressing it. Thank you.
Senator Kinyua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to hear the comment of the Cabinet Secretary concerning very serious issue raised by the Auditor General on the issue of NSSF. Thank you.
Senator Abbas.
Honorable Speaker. Mine is a supplementary question that on the CS, in relation to delays of pensions. In the past, we used to have disease thresholds where the aged pensioners used to access their money and through the post banks. But of late, they have been told to go to banks. And some of these guys don't even have enough money to pay for the rate for the banks. So what measures are you placing in place so that these senior citizens can be able to access their money easily? Is there a plan for you to develop? One other thing is, why don't you have some treasury, pension offices in some part of the regions? So at least instead of farmers, pensioners coming up to here, to Nairobi, and having problems in this place, they could be able to take money from the regional places.
Senator Abbas, you are entitled under standing orders to ask only one.
So,
No. Senator Karungo Thangwa, Senator Mudama, Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
On the question that was asked, is it really working? It's much better. Now, on the question by Senator Kinyua on the NSSF, I guess this is a question relating to the release by Auditor General or the Office of the Auditor General regarding there is investment by NSSF on some government bonds, and that has some challenges. First, I wish to state that pension funds are have some kind of independence in terms of managing the pension investment, and they have they recruit custodians and fund managers to do that and advise them on how to invest, where to invest. So if there are mistakes that they committed in terms of investment, then there is a process that would deal with that. As the Auditor General has flagged it out, and already I am aware that a parliamentary committee is on this matter. I would only wait for the parliamentary committee to conclude its work, make recommendations. That is Public Investment Committee of the National Assembly, I think. Make its recommendations, and then action can be taken, especially if there is any action regarding policy direction that the National Treasury needs to put in place to deter any future involvement. Because again, in terms of actions for someone who has deliberately, if there is any deliberate act, then that we have relevant departments and offices dealing with that. On the issue of pension officers being deployed, we are trying to move away and make this work, this whole question of managing pension be automated. And so we are having a self-service portal we are putting in place that they don't have to move. The pensioners don't even have to move anywhere. Even at the comfort of their homes, they can access almost all the services that they need without going, including if they have a system of accessing their banks. They would just file documents and start withdrawing money to their phones from the bank, and it becomes very easy. And we have also put in place services at Huduma centers to support this. Thank you. I think that's what I would say on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We shall now move to question number 79 by the Honorable Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would want to ask this question on behalf of Senator Karen Nyamu. The questions are as follows. Question number 079. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary state the medium-term strategy to reduce the fiscal deficit from 4.9% to a sustainable level? Number 2, what measures is the ministry undertaking to support counties, noting that 2025 budget policy statement project GDP growth at 5.3% and stable inflation, yet county governments face a contracting fiscal space and rising costs? 3, what interventions is the ministry implementing to address the pending bills crisis in the county governments, particularly in Nairobi County, where pending bills have accumulated to approximately Kenya shillings 121 billion, and what mechanisms are being enforced to ensure timely settlement for supplier debts and prevent further accumulation? 4, how does the National Treasury plan to manage increased domestic borrowing by the government without crowding out private sector credit and stifling economic growth in light of constrained external financing and the lapse of the International Monetary Fund, Extended Fund Facility, and Extended Credit Facility, and program signed in April 2021? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable CS, we have 15 minutes within which to respond and also to allow supplementary questions from Honorable Senators. So kindly paraphrase. We already have your substantive response. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in responding to this question, although this is an area that I become sometimes very passionate, but I will not go overboard. So to effectively manage the prevailing fiscal deficit in Kenya, the government, through the National Treasury, is adopting and has adopted a multi-pronged approach with notable focus on both revenue generation and expenditure control. So you can call it revenue generation and expenditure or fiscal consolidation. So there are several steps or approaches to this. Number one, strengthening financial controls. Number two, diversifying borrowing sources. Number three, improving debt repayment planning. And number four, promoting efficient resource allocation. Those are the steps that we are taking to ensure that we manage, or rather, we reduce the fiscal deficit to manage the debt sustainability. So, for example, in this financial year that we are going to 25-26, we plan to have a budget deficit of about 4.5%, not 4.3 as indicated in the document. We have revised it to 4.5% compared to 4.9, which of this current financial year. Actually, it's going to be about 5.1% this financial year. So we are reducing the budget deficit. The best way to address or enhance or ensure debt sustainability is to persistently and consistently reduce budget deficit year by year. I want to report, Mr. Speaker, that in 2020-2021, the budget deficit was 8.3. 21-22, that came down to 6.2% of GDP. 22-23, it came down to 5.6. 23-24, you see we are coming down. We came down to 5.3, and now we are at 5.1, and we want to move to 4.5 continuously, and in the medium term, we'll be at 2.7. So that is what the reduction of budget deficit will help us on debt sustainability. But then, that can only be realized through fiscal consolidation. Fiscal consolidation here simply means, one, you enhance revenue collection. And that is why we are working on Kenya Revenue Authority, automating their processes and procedures to make sure that we enhance efficiency and effectiveness of that institution. But also, we are working on the other side of managing expenditure. And managing expenditure and managing prudence in use of public funds. Mr. Speaker, I want to report here that one step that we have taken to ensure that our revenues are realistic, because that is one area that has resulted over the years in over-budgeting, which has given us high fiscal deficit. We revised 2025-26 revenue estimates down from 3 trillion and 18 billion to 2 trillion 757 billion. For the first time, Mr. Speaker, I'll report to you that the National Treasury's estimate of ordinary revenue is below the estimate by Parliamentary Budget Office. For the first time. It has always been that the Treasury estimates are higher. So we are doing that to make sure that we are realistic. So on the revenue side, let me brush over or move to expenditure. Some of the things that we are doing to ensure that we cut on expenditure. And again, I want to report here that we reduced our expenditure based on the BPS that was approved by 120 billion just to live within our means. So we are taking steps to actualize fiscal sustainability. The government will sustain efforts to strengthen accountability, transparency, and a revenue mobilization path by the medium-term revenue strategy. We are also strengthening expenditure control and improving efficiency and effectiveness in public spending. That is why on 7th of April, I officiated the launch of e-procurement system to maximize value for money and increase transparency in procurement. From 1st of July, all government procurements will be done through e-procurement platform, and no one else will be given excuse. Over 3,000 MDAs will all be onboarded, and the onboarding is going on, and we are even training the suppliers, the contractors, on the use of this system. We have also implemented zero-based budgeting approach for this financial year for the first time. We have also operationalizing the assets and inventory management modules in our IFMIS for all MDAs. In order not to crowd out the private sector in the provision of public services, the government is scaling up the use of public-private partnership framework for commercially viable projects. A number of projects are lined up for PPP. Rironi Mau Summit is one case. We are also thinking and working and moving forward with SGR that will largely be on PPP. The Galana Kulalu project is there, one of the PPP projects. A number of projects under the energy sector, especially the energy transmission, are also being implemented under the PPP system. The government is also piloting a new human resource management system, which will be rolled out to all national government ministries and departments, as well as all county governments, in order to improve the management of the wage bill, including statutory payroll deductions. In view of the constrained fiscal environment, prioritization during resource allocation will be critical in ensuring low priority expenditure are dropped or deferred to give way to high priority service delivery programs. So ministries, MDAs are therefore required to reevaluate all the existing or planned activities, projects and programs to be funded in the financial year of 25-26, and that we did. Now strategies, Mr. Speaker, I could go on and on in terms of talking about managing our debt, because it is a very wide topic, but I think those are some of the salient features of what we are implementing. On strategies to manage county government funding constraints, first, there is a reason for funding constraints. One is the low ordinary revenue collections over the years. And Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that over the period 2016-2017 to 2024-25, actual ordinary revenue has always been below target, except for 2021-22. And hence, such shortfalls in actual ordinary revenue collections have led to constraints in county government funding. This is real, Mr. Speaker, because we budget, but the resources become a challenge when we don't meet the revenue targets. The need to finance mandatory expenditures under Article 203 of the Constitution. The government has an inevitable need to finance mandatory expenditures under Article 203 of the Constitution. Such expenditures relate to national interest programs such as the security modernization, strategic interventions. This leads to fiscal deficit in financing other major national government functions, which has always occasioned additional borrowing, which continues to distort our fiscal framework. And again, I want to say that the national government continues to solely bear shortfalls in revenue in any given financial year, as has always been demonstrated. There is also the high cost of public debt that is contributing largely. This is largely due to a relatively stable but still high exchange rate to the dollar, as well as high interest rates in the domestic markets. Public debt services in 25-26 will account for about 52% of ordinary revenue, which is higher than the average of 41% over the period from 2017 to 2024-25. So we are going up in terms of percentage of our ordinary revenue that goes towards settling the public debt or servicing public debt. What strategies is the ministry taking to manage county government funding constraints? The national government, through National Treasury, is managing funding constraints to county government using a variety of strategies. By utilizing these strategies in a comprehensive and coordinated manner, the National Treasury has therefore been able to effectively manage funding for county governments and support their efforts to deliver essential services and promote development despite the prevailing fiscal constraints due to expenditure pressures and public debt commitments as shown above. The strategies enumerated below aim to ensure that county governments have the financial resources they need to fulfill their responsibilities and deliver services to Kenyan citizens. One is the conditional and unconditional allocations to counties. We have continued to give additional allocations to counties which are earmarked for specific programs or projects as defined by the central government. They provide targeted funding for special policy goals or initiatives. And these additional allocations can ensure that certain areas are prioritized and that funding is allocated in a way that aligns with the national priorities. However, the county government's additional allocations bill has always been passed by Parliament late towards the close of financial year, thereby denying counties additional funding for programs under national priorities such as county aggregated and industrial parks, program and community health promoters. We currently have a problem even absorbing this year's budget, county additional allocations, Mr. Speaker, because of how long it took between the two houses to agree. So promoting local revenue generation in the form of own source revenue, again here the National Treasury has been empowering county governments to generate their own revenue through taxation and other means. This is meant to increase the autonomy and fiscal sustainability of county government to alleviate the risks associated with over-reliance on equitable share to find essential services. The National Treasury has finalized the development and piloting of own-source revenue forecasting tools for counties to help them expanding their revenue bases, thus allowing them to implement realistic charges, levies, and fees geared towards raising more revenues. It is expected that this own-source revenue system generation will strengthen county government's autonomy and promote fiscal sustainability. Number 3 is promoting transparency and accountable financial management. The National Treasury is committed to ensuring that funding in counties is used effectively and efficiently so that county governments are accountable for the use of public funds. The National Treasury therefore urges counties to adhere to the clear guidelines for the allocation and use of funds through promoting transparency by making financial information readily available to the public as in the norm at the National Treasury. And I hope this House will help in realizing this. Implementing strong monitoring and evaluation systems, that is also something else. And finally, building partnerships with county governments. The National Treasury and Economic Planning has continued to foster collaboration between the national government and county governments to improve service delivery and promote development. The Office of the Cabinet Secretary continues to engage in regular dialogue with the Council of Governors through regular meetings and forums to discuss policy issues and share best practice. Some of these forums are even informal, Mr. Speaker, and we have a very good working relationship with the Council of Governors led by the Chair, who is also my professional colleague. Further, the National Treasury continues to supporting collaborative project financing through joint projects between the national governments, ministries, departments and agencies and county government, such as KIPES and CHPs, among others. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you once again for this opportunity to engage with you together with the honorable members. Thank you very much.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Very quick questions. I wanted to know from the CS what interventions is the ministry implementing in regards to pending bills, where you will find one pending bill that has been passed by the county assembly, and then the governor has his own list. And this comes to COB, and the governor's list will be paid. The one that has been passed by the county assembly is yet to be paid. Number 2 is on the issue of diversion of funds. When a contractor or a supplier is supposed to be paid by the county government, and the money is requisitioned from COB, and at the end of the day, that money goes to another contractor, different contractor, not the contractor or supplier who was requisitioned for. So how is the ministry going to deal with this matter? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the two questions are linked together. They're very related, where you find that the requisition is made through the normal system, through the control of budget, and yet the payment is given or paid to someone else or another contractor or to pay another bill. This is a problem that is very pronounced in counties from what I gather. And as we are we are working on a tool, a system that will be used by both the national government and the county governments to ensure that the bill, what has been approved is actually what is paid for, and also to ensure that bills are prioritized in terms of first in, first out. Because again, there's a lot of favoritism and discretion by governors. So that, I mean, by decision makers at the counties and at the national government level. But even as we do that, I think the control of budget has capacity and tool. What we need control of budget to exercise or do is to make sure that their approval is respected, so that they rein on the county governments. The Auditor General can also be taking the approvals from the control of budget and use it to audit the actual expenditure. And then I also want to ask this Honorable House, the Senate, that this is also an area where you can help. I know you have helped before, but I think you can help more by ensuring that it's not even micromanaging, by ensuring that what has been approved is what is actually paid. Because these cases are too much. They are reported, we live in this country, we hear about them, and nothing seems to be happening to stop this, which I call actually illegal diversion of funds. Because if control of budget has approved money to be spent on a particular manner, that is how it should be spent. It should not be spent in a different manner at all. So we, as National Treasury, are working on a system that would ensure that payments are made in line with the approval. As that is being done, I think we can still use the current system and supervision to help deal with some of these challenges.
Senator Sotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me start by congratulating the CS for the good work he's doing at the ministry, at the Treasury. Indeed, you are the expert that we have been talking about. I have two quick questions, Mr. Speaker. One is that the CS has talked about constraints in disbursing monies to the counties. And I would like to make reference to the disbursement schedule we passed last week to disburse money under additional allocation to the county. Maybe you can elaborate to this House what constraints you are facing. Because I spoke to my governor yesterday, and he told me that though we passed some monies, that money has not hit the account. Instead, there was a communication from the National Treasury about the further delay.
Go straight to the question, Honorable Sotsi.
So what are these constraints the ministry is facing, particularly in disbursing the money under additional allocation that we passed the disbursement schedule last week? Number two.
Honorable Sotsi.
Yes.
Understanding Order 51C 7B, you're entitled to ask only one supplementary question,
okay,
which
well.
you have.
Very well,
Honorable
Mr.
CS, proceed to respond.
The constraints generally would be on cash flow challenges, especially where the funding is from GOK, and more particularly where we fail to meet the revenue targets by KRA. And I will tell you that we have so much demand. At times there are some months which are very bad, especially the months where we are paying loans. We are repaying loans. We usually have challenges in the month of January, February, very serious challenges in the month of May, and then July. Those are months where we repay the Chinese loan on SGR, and those are the same months like January where we pay capitation to schools, and the capitation to schools is at times almost 50 billion. And remember, every month we pay 80 billion salaries. So if you add 80 billion, you add to say 40 billion, that's already 120, and you add that to debt repayments, we sometimes come to 50, 60, you're already beyond 200. And revenue collection in a month is averaging around 200 billion. Now that then puts a problem to funding the counties, puts a problem to funding other development expenditure. But I will tell you, we still work very hard to make sure that counties get priority in terms of funding. And sometimes we look at even the balances of counties and release some money. When we have limited resources, release some funds to some counties which have low balances. Those who still have high balances, we again tell them when they spend, we give. As we speak, we have paid up to end of April all the monies to all counties. But we have May still outstanding. And of course, we have June. And we have that constraint. Honorable Speaker, this year, particularly, I think has been a terrible year. Apart from the fact that we had that economic shutdown, and I want honorable members to listen to me on this. Apart from the economic shutdown that we had for almost 2-3 months.
You have 1 minute, Honorable CS, to...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If you could add me 2 so that I could do 3, just to explain this bit. The economic shutdown led to slowed economic growth in the country and failed meeting of our targets in terms of revenue collection. But we also did not conclude with IMF the 9th review. So we lost 765 million US dollars going to budgetary support. As we speak, the World Bank's funding, or BOP, seems to be going to July. Because one of the things is that some of the legislations that were precedent to the release of these funds, Mr. Speaker, delayed in the legislative process. The conflict of interest bill was a key bill for World Bank to give us the funding. And when it was unlocked, there was no time to take our approval to the board. Now you see we are going to June 30th with 97 billion whole that I did not prepare for as Cabinet Secretary. Now, these are challenges, Mr. Speaker, which inhibit our release of funds. Even when sometimes National Assembly puts pressure on me on CDF, I don't even know what to do because the resources are constrained and we have to balance needs. Do you pay salary or you release money to CDF and release money to counties? Do you pay salaries or you stop paying salaries? Those are questions that you have to ask. You have debts to pay. You must pay those debts. If you default, the implication for our economy is dire. Remember, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the reason why we have tried very hard to make sure that we meet our obligations. There were 6 countries that were mentioned in 2021 by IMF as candidates for restructuring, as candidates for default. 5 have defaulted. It's only Kenya which has survived. Angola has defaulted, Ethiopia has defaulted, Ghana has defaulted, Chad has defaulted, and Zambia has defaulted. 5 economies out of 6, only Kenya has survived. I would want to urge and request this Honorable House to help support me, support the government, support my ministry, so that we don't fall to where these our contemporaries are fallen. And I am confident we are not going to fall there. That is why sometimes you see some challenges, but we'll outlive these challenges, Mr. Speaker, with your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. I'm afraid we may have to terminate our interrogation and interaction with the CS at that. Honorable CS, thank you so much. You are now free to leave. Clerk, you may usher the CS in charge of mining. Now, Honorable Senators, this morning we lost 30 minutes waiting for quorum. 30 minutes that we would have otherwise utilized to interact with the CS Treasury. And therefore, I urge you, we need not ring the bell for us to get a quorum. If he can be able and if he can purpose to be in the chamber by 9:30, then we'll have more time to interact with honorable CSs.
Niko vizuri.
Clerk, do we have the CS in charge of mining? Honorable CS, welcome to the Senate. You are here today to respond to two questions. Order, honorable senators. Please let us take our seats. We will start with question number 031 by the Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda. You may now proceed to ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 31 is in 4 parts. I have also received responses to the questions. I will ask the questions, but I will save time because, Mr. Speaker, the responses are satisfactory, so the CS does not need to spend too much time responding. Mr. CS, the first question, Part A, what regulatory framework exists for mining in Kenya, particularly regarding the safety of miners and prevention of child labor, and could the CS explain the attendant enforcement mechanisms? Part B, has the ministry conducted assessments or surveys to establish the extent of illegal gold mining operations in Kisumu County, and if so, could the CS disclose the findings and explain any efforts by the ministry to regularize illegal mining operations? Part C, what training or capacity building programs does the ministry offer to small-scale miners in Kisumu County regarding modern, safe, and sustainable mining practices in view of the various fatalities already recorded in various areas in Kisumu County? And lastly, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the steps taken by government to mitigate the negative environmental impacts of gold mining operations in Kisumu County? That's all, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. You need not read your response verbatim. You may like to paraphrase it so that we, in the interest of time, that is. You may proceed, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As indicated by Honorable Senator, that we have furnished with the relevant responses. I just wanted to assure the Senator or the House that indeed we are on course in training and capacity building on our artisanal miners and adhering to the regulatory framework and, of course, Mining Act 2016. Mr. Speaker, the Senator had asked on the preparation of the artisanal miners and capacity and licensing processes. I just wanted to inform the House that we have now formed cooperatives. We have undertaken capacity building. We are in line with our regulatory framework to ensure that they adhere to the regulations. So I am happy, Mr. Speaker, that the honourable member is satisfied with our responses. But generally, I want to assure the House that we are on course in capacity building, in creating safety nets, and ensuring restoration or rehabilitation of our mining, whatever activities that happen in all areas in our countries. Mr. Speaker, we've also deployed county mining officers to ensure that they work hand in hand with counties and communities so that we can adhere fully to the requirements of the law. So, in other words, we've not only decriminalized the artisanal activities, but we've also created processes of ensuring they adhere to the rule of law and also are supported accordingly, working with other partners such as NEMA, Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Cooperative. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. Senator Tomojenda, you may ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Mr. Speaker, I have no supplementary question to the CS. I'm satisfied with the response. Thank you, Mr. CS.
Senator Wambua.
That's a new one coming from Senator Tom.
Senator Senator Professor Tomojenda, allow your colleague to ask a question if you're satisfied.
You're not in the broad-based. It's okay.
Honorable CS, you may take your seat and then note all the questions, because I'm going to allow a number of the senators to raise questions. Thereafter, you will respond to them at a go. Honorable Wambua.
The Speaker, the way Senator Tom is pointing at me, I'm not sure I'm safe. I want protection from you.
Senator Tomojenda, I have noted your... Senator Tomojenda, kindly resume your ordinary seat. Just proceed and do it quietly, please. Proceed, Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your protection. Mr. Speaker, my question flows from question B on illegal mining activities, and I wanted to find out from the CS if he is aware of the illegal extraction of copper in Kitui County, especially the area around Kitui West, called Mediko. And if he does not have the specifics about it, Mr. Speaker, it's an issue that I'm willing to take up with the CS in due course. But is he aware that there are people that are illegally extracting copper from Kitui West in Kitui County? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Methu. Senator Mungatana.
Asante sana waziri. Kwanza nakupongeza kwa kazi unayofanya waziri, tunashukuru. Kuna hatua ulichukua sehemu ya Tana River na ukasimamisha uchimbaji wa madini ya gypsum. Na sisi tulitarajia ya kwamba waziri utafuatizia, uweke mikakati ili wale wananchi ambao wanafaidika kwa uchumi huo wa uchimbaji wa gypsum wapate haki yao, wawekezaji wapate haki yao, county government ipate haki yake. Lakini waziri, baada ya kuchukua hatua ile ambao sote tulipongeza, by the way, tumeona kwamba serikali kuu kutoka kwa ofisi yako mmenyamaza. Sasa tungependa kujua na watu wa Tana River wangependa kujua kunaendeleaje na mipangilio ni namna gani, manake pale pia ilikuwa ni kitega uchumi na watu hali ndizo hizi wanataka kuishi. Asante waziri.
Senator Olekena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question to the Cabinet Secretary relates to mining royalties. Recently, Mr. Speaker, we had additional allocation of revenue, and some counties were allocated royalties, and I did not see any money being allocated to Narok County for additional allocation of revenue in terms of royalties. Yet Narok County has the majority of gold mining activities in the country. So my question to the Cabinet Secretary is that, does the Ministry of Treasury consult you to be able to give a list of the counties and how much has been collected in terms of royalties from the 47 counties, so that they make a decision on which counties to give money, or it doesn't? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boy Issa Juma.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi nina swali ambalo nitakamuuliza Mheshimiwa Waziri kuhusu uvuvi, ambayo sehemu ya kule Vanga na Shimoni wavuvi wananyanyaswa sana na watu wa KWS.
Senator Issa, your supplementary question must flow from the primary question. So you may want to wait until the Waziri responds to the second question that is related to fisheries. Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, yesterday we had the opportunity to sit with Governor Kwale at the County Public Accounts Committee. The question I wanted is been asked by Senator Olekina, that in fact the Governor Kwale confirmed they have never received royalties from this government. So maybe when he answers that question, he will answer us as well.
Senator Kenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also wish to know from the Cabinet Secretary, in line with what Professor Tom Ojenda mentioned on capacity building, we have a soapstone mining activity which is more traditional, but I feel like the ministry is not giving it much attention like other mining, the other mining that happens in other counties, Mr. Speaker. So I would wish to know what other special consideration is being given to the soapstone covers and miners in that region, Mr. Speaker, because that's an area which as a country we can explore. Thank you.
Senator Haji.
Could I have the mic? Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary had responded to the question by Senator Ojenda regarding environmental impact of miners. And in his answer, he did elaborate that miners are required to come up with a management plan of the environment. Could the Senator elucidate further in terms of how the ministry has taken action against miners who leave the environment in a very bad shape after they have conducted their business? Could the minister tell us in detail what is the ministry or what measures the ministry is putting in place to ensure that the environmental impact left by the miners are adequately addressed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond, and you have 3 minutes to do so.
Mr. Speaker, if you'll allow me, I would like to start with the last question by Senator Haji, and I think it is an important one. One of the reasons as to why we've had to stop some mining operations, like the gypsum one, it is in the manner where the mining activities had been conducted earlier. Lands have been turned to barren land and abandoned quarries. And it is interesting because the pastoralist communities such as Garissa and Tana River and others suffer lots of losses because of losing livestock that fall into the pits. And that's one of the reasons that's why we have cancelled operations. What we are doing is to enforce. Initially, the ministry did not have an enforcement unit. We had a police unit, an AP unit, but now we have DCI unit that pursue those culprits that did that, and we're taking them through necessary action. So I want to assure you, Senator, there's some course we are following. Senator Ekunyuri, you asked about soapstone. We treat all miners the same. Artisanal miners, a decision that was made is across all minerals. There's no specific treatment for specific mineral. So I just want to assure you, we have considered all minerals and all practices by artisanals. And all of them have been put in cooperatives and capacity build them so that they can be able to aggregate and access market easily. So even licensing, we use the same procedure, same protocols to ensure everybody gets licensed. Mr. Sifuna asked me about the royalties. I share your concerns, Senator. And I am already now negotiating with my committee of National Assembly to be able to undertake some reform, whereas when royalties are paid, they are disbursed to the rightful places on time, so that communities don't have to depend on Treasury. And obviously, I'll be consulting and seeking your support to be able to amend the law, so that if someone pays royalty, 70% goes to national government, 20% should go to counties, and 20% should go to communities. And CDAC, 1% gross, should directly go to the community. So this is a matter that requires reform in our law, and I'm already in discussion with the relevant committee at National Assembly, and I'll be looking forward to engaging you in Senate. Mr. Olekina, I'm not so sure whether you're right by saying Narok may be the biggest gold producer. We really don't have the data. But that said and done, you still deserve to be paid royalties on time. And Senator, I took the decision of terminating some of the licenses because of failure to comply with royalties payment. And I am glad that you worked with us in Narok and supported us. And now we're in the process of identifying good, reliable companies that will take the liabilities of the previous companies, pay the communities, fulfill the obligations, and be able to get a fresh license. So I also identify with your sentiments, and this is something that we're doing. Senator Makau, my brother, on Kitui mining, particularly on copper. Kitui is endowed with lots of resources, Senator, and copper is one of the most important critical mineral around the world today. And when we came in, we found that there was a lot of export of copper ore. We took a decision as a ministry. We stopped export of copper ore, and as we speak, there's not a single tonnage of copper that is exported, and therefore we are slowly managing extraction of our copper. What we are doing as a ministry today is to be able to consider the entire value chain, meaning if we have copper deposits in the country, we should be able to move it to copper concentrate and copper cathode to be able to achieve job creation and wealth creation. So, Senator, I assure you, the ones that had been mining earlier, we are pursuing them through our DCI unit. The ones that are doing today, we have now deployed districts mining officers to ensure there's no illegal activities, and we are working with the Ngaos in the districts so that we can be able to tame these mining illegal activities. The Senator for Tana River, Danson Mungatana, umeniuliza mambo ya gypsum, my brother, it is the same problem. Swala lilikuwa lile tu la uchimbaji mbaya wa madini. Na kampuni mingi ambao reapply haziwezi kuqualify kwa sababu waliwacha the mines walikuwa nazo mapema kwa hali ambayo haistahili. So for Tana River tumeshapeana leseni kama 4 hivi za gypsum baada ya ushauriano na the local leadership, mjumbe, MCAs na by extension the county. So kuna operations ambayo imeanza about 4 companies. Nataka kuhakikishia kwamba shida ya mining ilikuwa, hiyo pia inahusisha na Garissa. Watu walikuwa wanachimba gypsum kutumia a mining permit. Mining permit huzungumzi na jamii. You don't need community consent to get a mining permit. Sasa tumegraduate hiyo ikuwe a mining license, whereas communities ni lazima wahusishwe. So I want to assure you, Senator Mungatana, that we are on course in ensuring people adhere to the rule of law and participation of the community. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS. We'll now move to question number 047 by the Senator for Senator Miraj Abdullahi. You may proceed to ask your question.
Asante mstahiki Spika, na mimi niulize swali langu nambari 47. Wizara imeweka mikakati ipi kuhakikisha ya kwamba wavuvi nchini Kenya wamepata mafunzo ya kisasa ili kuongeza mapato yao? Swali la pili, je, waziri anaweza kutoa maelezo kuhusiana na matumizi ya shilingi bilioni 1 zilizotolewa na idara ya masuala ya kimataifa ya serikali ya Canada, Global Affairs Canada, kufadhili mradi wa wanawake wanaoshiriki katika biashara za baharini maarufu kama Investing in Women in the Blue Economy in Kenya IWBEC project, na kuweka wazi majina ya kampuni na vikundi vilivyofaidika, kaunti wanazotoka, waliofaidika, fedha walizopokea na lini walipokea fedha hizo? Swali la tatu, je, waziri anaweza pia kueleza ni hatua gani zinazochukuliwa na chuo cha bandari Maritime Academy na mamlaka ya usimamizi wa bandari kuhakikisha kuwa vyeti vya mafunzo vinavyokabidhiwa na chuo hicho vinapata utambulizi kamili wa kimataifa? Asante.
Honorable CS, you may respond. Now, Honorable Senators, we have 15 minutes to give to this question. And therefore, Honorable CS, just like you did to the first question, paraphrase your response so that we allow as many senators as we can to ask some supplementary questions.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Wizara kupitia idara ya jimbo la uchumi wa buluu na uvuvi imeshiriki kikamilifu kutoa mafunzo kwa wafanyikazi wa samaki katika uvuvi wa bahari kuu kwa ajili ya kuzalisha ajira. Wizara vile vile imetoa uwezo wa kupatia bidhaa za uvuvi kama maboti na ujenzi wa bandari ndogo za uvuvi na kuweza kupatia bidhaa zinazostahili kuboresha biashara ya uvuvi katika maeneo ya jimbo la Pwani na katika maeneo ya jimbo ya Lake Victoria na Lake Turkana, na tukiendelea kuongezesha mbele. Swali la pili Mheshimiwa Spika ni kuhusu fedha za kuempower kina mama kupitia shirika la NGO kutoka nchi ya Canada. Mheshimiwa Spika, ripoti ambaye niko nayo ni kwamba shirika hili lilijituma likatafuta senti kutoka serikali ama wafadhili wa Canada takriban bilioni 1. Baada ya kutafuta hiyo wakaanza kupeana grants ama msaada kwa vikundi vya kina mama viliomo katika jimbo la Lake Victoria na jimbo la Pwani. Na habari ambaye wizara iko nayo ni kwamba walifanya vetting, wakatambua wale the beneficiaries na wakapeana paka sasa takriban milioni 403 million shillings kwa vikundi tofauti vikiwemo vikundi vya Mombasa, vikundi vya Kwale, Kilifi, Lamu, Busia, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay na Migori. Kile kitu ambacho ningependa kuambia nyumba hii Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba NGO inavyofanya kazi haihusishi sana vyombo vya serikali. So hatujaweza kupata the detailed expenditure ama ile pesa vile zitumika kikamilifu kwa wanawake ambao walisaidiwa na msaada huu. Lakini na maybe ni kualika tu Senate maybe to engage the NGO directly to maybe they'll open up more. But kwa sasa walitupatia habari ambazo tulizonazo kwamba wametumia pesa kiasi hii na vikundi kiasi namna hii vya Mombasa na vya Lake Victoria na Kilifi na wengineo. Swali la tatu ni kuhusu Bandari Maritime Academy, vipi vinavyofanya mafunzo na recognition issues. Nataka kuambia Mr. Speaker kwamba Bandari Maritime Academy imekuwa whitelisted na IMO. which is a very good step forward kuanzia. Nchi yetu ambayo inahitaji kufanya sahihi ni ku negotiate na nchi zingine for recognition of our COCs or certificate of competencies. Nataka kuambia Mr. Speaker kwamba tumesha negotiate na nchi mingi tu. Kwa sasa tumesign na nchi 4, lakini hivi majuzi nilikuwa Denmark kushirikiana na my counterpart kule kusign. Tuna negotiate now na EU na the Americas largely, so that we sign a memorandum of understanding katika recognition ya our learning institutions. But kitu cha muhimu ni kwamba we are whitelisted by IMO, so we are on the positive space. I submit.
Senator Miraj.
Bwana Spika, niruhusu kwanza nimpongeze waziri wetu kwa kuweza kuona kwamba vyeti vyetu sasa vinatambulika na mataifa 4 ikiwemo Korea. Juzi kati tumeona katika Facebook yao kwamba wameweza kusaini pamoja na Italy. Lakini bado Bwana Spika, nadhani swali hili nimeliuliza kwa mara ya pili. Niliuliza awamu ya Mvurya aliyekuwa waziri katika wizara hii, na nimeliuliza tena. Na sababu ya kuliuliza swali hili ni kwamba jamii zetu za pwani hazitononoki jumla ya kuwa tunaona kwamba fedha nyingi.
Senator Miraj, what is your question?
My question is, swali langu ni hili kwamba jamii za pwani ambazo ni jamii zinategemea uchumi samawati ikiwemo uvuvi na fedha ambazo zinashirikiana na bahari. Tunaona kwamba hundi zinapeanwa mara nyingi, na hata rais anapokuja pwani tunaona miradi mingi anayoisimamia ni miradi ya uchumi samawati. Lakini kila wakati tunapouliza fedha zile zinawafikia kina nani, hatupati majibu. Na leo waziri amesema wazi ya kwamba hawana ufahamu wa ni kina nani wamekuwa wakipokea pesa hizi. Je, swali langu, tutawaambia nini wapwani kuhusiana na zile hundi za fedha ambazo tunaona zinaendelea kupeanwa na hatuwajui wanaozipokea ni kina nani? Pili, kwenye upande wa uvuvi, ningependa kumuuliza waziri, ndugu zetu wanapopata ajali katika maji, wanapozama wakiwa kazini wanavua, kuna mikakati gani ya kuona ya kwamba wanapata chombo kama cha helikopta ili wakati ajali zile zinatokea wanaweza kukimbia na kuwapa huduma ya haraka ya kwanza? Asante Bwana Spika.
Waziri unaweza kujibu. Na waziri tu kukujuza ni kwamba ukiamua kujibu swali kwa Kimombo lazima uendelee kwa Kimombo. Ukiamua kujibu swali kwa Kiswahili utaendelea na Kiswahili. Usichanganye lugha hizo mbili wakati unajibu. Endelea waziri.
Asante kwa ujuzi Mheshimiwa Spika. Ni jambo muhimu sana. Nilikuwa nalijua, lakini tu vile maneno mengine na changamoto. Mheshimiwa Miraj, iko tofauti ya Mheshimiwa Spika utanisaidia, accountability. Uwazi. Iko tofauti ya uwazi wa serikali na vyombo visokuwa vya serikali. Jawabu yangu hasa, kwa sababu swali lilouliza ni la NGO. Lakini hii 1 billion ambayo umesema ni pesa ambayo imepitia NGO. Wamepata rasilimali kupitia serikali na ufadhili wa Canada. Sasa imekuwa changamoto kwetu kuwauliza hawa NGO watupatie sisi hisabu na uwazi, kwa sababu wako na tabia zao na mienendo yao. Lakini zile za serikali, Mheshimiwa Spika, niko tayari kuyaeleza kinaga ubwaga. Tumepeana takriban bilioni 3.2 kwa vikundi tofauti vya kina mama, vijana, kununua maboti. Tumenunua maboti 129 takriban. Tumejenga bahari za uvuvi chache 9 hivi. Sasa hii tunajenga katika Lake Victoria. Tumejenga zingine 5 katika jimbo la Pwani, na zingine bado zinaendelea, na zingine tumeadvertise juzi na kadhalika. Kwa jambo la ajali, Mheshimiwa Senator, nataka nikwambie hata mimi wale watu ambao unaita watu wako ni watu wetu sisi wote. Na kwa sasa hivi ukienda Lamu, ukienda Mombasa, ukienda Kilifi, ukienda Kwale, utakuta tumewapatia boti la kuokoa watu la wepesi lenye kasi ya kisasa. Lakini nakubaliana na wewe katika mipango ya siku za usoni kwamba tunataka kuekeza katika teknolojia mpya ya kutumia drones na kutumia, Mheshimiwa Spika aweza kusaidia drones, lakini drones na kutumania helikopta, ndege ya helikopta. Hiyo iko katika mipango. Hiyo ni katika mipango kabambe ambayo tumeweka, na tukitathmini kwa kina tunakuta kwamba hiyo ndiyo njia mwafaka ya kufuata. Na submit.
Senator Shakila Abdallah.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwanza nampongeza Mheshimiwa Waziri kwa kazi anayoifanya mzuri. Swali langu kwa waziri ni kuhusiana na mambo ya uvuvi haramu. Kuna uvuvi haramu unaoendelea kwenye bahari zetu na unaharibu mazingira, na sijui kama wizara ina mipango gani ya kuzuia uvuvi haramu unaoendelea. Na nikitoa mfano kama Lamu, kuna wavuvi wanatoka sehemu za Pemba wanaokuja kuvua kwa magesi na mashini, na wanaharibu kabisa zile habitat za nyumba za uvuvi, hususan uvuvi wa malobster, makamba na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo tunataka kujua waziri, kuna mpango gani ambao umeweka wa kuzuia huo uvuvi haramu na kuweka inaitwaje kuhakikisha watu wanafanya patrol katika bahari kushika wale wavuvi ambao wanafanya uvuvi haramu. Asante Mheshimiwa
Senator John Yutu.
Asante Bwana Spika, swali langu kwa waziri, nikubalie nitumie Kiswahili manake kimenoga leo. Swali langu kwa waziri ni je, kwa sababu ufugaji wa samaki ni kitega uchumi kizuri sana, je, wizara imeweka mikakati gani kuona kwamba ufugaji wa samaki na uvuvi haufanyiki tu mahali tulipo na maziwa ama bahari, na kwamba tunawafuga samaki pia katika maeneo hata ya huku bara, labda kwa kutengeneza mabwawa ya kufuga samaki, ili kwamba pia wanabara wakawa ni watu wanaofuga samaki na wanaokula samaki. Je, mikakati ni gani? Asante.
Senator Boy Isa Juma.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwanza napenda kumpongeza Mheshimiwa Waziri hivi juzi kule Migori kuhusu habari ya mambo ya uvuvi na hivyo soko mpya zilizojengwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, swali langu ambalo nitakamuuliza waziri hapa ni kwamba kule sehemu za kwetu, kule sehemu za Kwale, sehemu za Vanga, sehemu za Shimoni, sehemu za Mkwiro, hivi ni visiwa ambavyo kuna wavuvi wanavua kule na vyombo vyao vya kuvulia ni vya zamani sana Mheshimiwa. Na ningependa kujua kutoka kwa waziri kama kuna mikakati gani ambayo inaweza kusaidia wale wavuvi waweze kupata vyombo vya kisasa, maneti na nini, kama vile wenzetu walivyopawa hivi juzi sehemu za Migori. Swali langu la pili ni kuhusu
Honorable Senator, under Standing Order 51C7B, you are entitled to ask only one supplementary question. Senator Morango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kulingana na orodha ya nakala ambayo tumepewa na waziri, kuangalia zile kaunti ambazo ziliweza kupata kufaidika na ule mgao ambao ulikuwa umepewa, hata kama ilikuwa ni fedha ya mashati kutoka Canada, kuna manziwa, baadhi ya manziwa makubwa, na mojawapo ni lile ziwa la Turkana, ambao pia wako na matatizo yao na wangependa kufaidika. Na kwa sababu hawakuwa katika orodha ambayo tuko nayo siku ya leo, mipango gani ulio nayo waziri kuhakikisha kwamba wale wenyeji wa kaunti ya Turkana na Marsabit ambao ndio wenyeji wa ziwa Turkana wanafaidika pamoja na maziwa mengine 23 ambao tulio nayo hapa Kenya? Asante sana Mstahiki Spika.
Senator Eddie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, we're short of time. Proceed, Senator Eddie.
Mr. Speaker,
in the language you're comfortable with. Proceed.
I'm not sure whether Senator Nyuto has
Just
become
proceed to ask the question, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the CS for great work that he did in the last 1 week in the counties that comprise the blue economy of Nyanza. And while I know that this question was addressed in journalistic conversation and rally conversations, apart from the good thing that he's doing there, I wanted to ask the CS, is there a budget and a strategy for having to make sure that there is proper equipment on the issue that Senator Miraj asked about accidents that we are seeing across the country in these lakes and as well as the oceans, where fishermen don't have proper equipment to take care of themselves? Because, Mr. Speaker, it's not just proper to help them when they have capsized, but
we
preventing.
The question has been registered.
Thank
Senator
you.
Chute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Watu wamepongeza waziri sana, lakini niko na shida kwa sababu mambo zote waziri ameongea ni kuhusu mahali pengine. Ile Turkana imesahaulika. Nataka kuuliza waziri, tuko na rasilimali Marsabit County, tuko na dhahabu ambaye inatoka Moyale, tuko na ziwa ya Turkana ambaye tunapeleka samaki kule Kongo. Ningetaka kuuliza waziri, atasaidia sisi namna gani kuhusu ziwa Lake Victoria, watu wetu wapate usaidizi ambaye wataweza kutoa samaki kwa njia ya haraka. Na watu ya Moyale pia wanalia, gold deposit yao iko huko. Kampuni imetoka hapa, kampuni imeenda kuchukua ardhi ya watu ya Moyale. Anachukua hatua gani kuhakikisha hiyo kampuni license imekuwa cancelled, waende mahali pengine watafute mahali ya kumine gold? Asante sana, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutendo.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Ningependa pia mimi kumpongeza waziri wetu, tumeona akichapa kazi. Na swali langu ni rahisi, mstahiki Spika. Ningetaka kujua dhamana ya madini katika kaunti za mashariki, haswa kule ambapo nimetoka, na pia mipangilio ambayo Wizara ya Madini inayo kuwezesha haya madini na dhamana ya madini katika kaunti ya mashariki kuweza kunoga na kuweza kupanuka. Asante mstahiki Spika.
Senator Morgo.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Ningependa kuuliza waziri juu ya uchimbaji wa migodi ama gold katika West Pokot, kama anajua uharibifu unaoendelea, kwamba shimo zinachimbwa kila pahali bila watu kujali kufunika, na ya pili wanapeleka mchanga.
Senator Morgo, your question has been registered. Don't add another one. You're not entitled to that. Honorable CS,
Asante.
you may proceed to respond. You'll note that these questions are related, so I believe you can respond under 2 minutes so that we conclude this. Proceed, Honorable CS.
Mheshimiwa Spika, maswali yameulizwa ni maswali ya muhimu sana katika hali ya kulinda rasilimali ya kitaifa. Na kwa ujumla tu nafasi ya rasilimali isipotumika inaweza kutumika kiuharibifu. Na ndio maana tumeweka mikakati kabambe. Kwa mfano kama kaunti ya Lamu, sahihi tukiwa tunazungumza, tunapanga mipango ya kutengeneza maboti ya kuenda masafa marefu, na yakirudi tuwe na bandari hasusan za samaki kuweza kuwasaidia katika utengenezaji samaki na kuhifadhi. Swali lingine la muhimu nimeulizwa, kwa nini tunaangalia tu maeneo ambayo yako na maziwa ama bahari. Umuhimu tuelewe kwamba hata sahihi ile Center of Excellence ambayo tuko nayo iko hapa Nyeri, hapa Sagana, ambayo inafanya uzalishaji wa samaki na utafiti na mafunzo ya samaki. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, naweza kukupatia mshtuko kiasi kwamba ujue hata hii Nairobi, samaki wengi ambao wanakuja katika soko hili ni samaki ambao wanafugwa katika maeneo ambayo hakuna ziwa na bahari. Na ile habari mzuri zaidi, siku zingine nitawaalika katika maeneo ya Kakamega na niwaonyeshe vile watu wanafuga, kina mama wanafuga samaki na baadaye wanawapeleka katika kiwanda, wanatengenezwa, wanakuja katika maeneo haya. So rasilimali ya uchumi wa blue, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kubwa sana. Na ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba hatujawahi kuipatia kipaumbele ambacho kinastahili. Lakini sasa hii tuko na mikakati kabambe ya kueleweka. Kwanza kuwapatia uweza wavuvi na jamii zinazoishi katika maeneo hayo, na kuwafunza jamii ambao zinaishi katika maeneo tofauti mbinu na namna za kuweza kupata faida katika maeneo haya. Mheshimiwa Spika, hayo ndio yale maswali uliuliza Kiswahili. Sasa ingine ni Eddie had asked a question on budget and strategy and equipping, particularly in the area of Lake Victoria in matters rescuing and searching. I want to assure you that our ministry has a budget. We have a contractor on site. We're building the first state-of-the-art search and rescue center in Kisumu, and we are going to equip it with equipment that will fit into the demands of the moment. So I realize, and I have had a conversation with a lot of critical players in the industry, and the number of our fisher folk that we lose every year is shocking and unbelievable. And we cannot attempt to deploy the same strategy and achieve different results. So you are right on developing a strategy that works, what would work today. So air rescue is critical. I had already directed, and the President is in concurrence with our plan, that we must deploy air rescue in the Lake Victoria and in the coastal region, of our Indian Ocean. Mr. Speaker, we have a responsibility of ensuring we secure our valuable resources as a country. Blue economy is one, and mineral is the other. For far too long, we've had a lot of illegal activities in all those areas. In Pokot, for example, in Turkana, in Migori is even worse, in Kwale, in Taita Taveta, in Tarakanidi here, where we are blessed with critical future minerals. We have people all over the place doing some illegal activities. But I can tell you, we are on a mission to ensure we follow them, we pursue them, not just to arrest them, but also pursue their accounts so that we can confiscate their gains illegally and make it public property. We have completed our area geophysical survey. We know our occurrences as a country. We know which minerals we have, where they are. What the ministry is doing today is a narration on our ground truthing. The asset in terms of value, in terms of viability, and whether it makes sense for a larger investment. So I want to assure the House, Mr. Speaker, is that we have a plan, and we are sticking to the plan, and we are executing the plan. Where we need to possibly reform our laws, I'll come back here and consult with my relevant committees. My chairman, Eddie, a wonderful young senator from Migori, a man that I know very well. We work well together. We will work to ensure that at committee level and the Senate we engage to reform so that we meet the current demands going into the future. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable CS. Honorable Senators, we'll terminate our interaction with the CS at that. Honorable CS, you may leave at your own pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We will now move to question number 001. Clerk, kindly usher in the Honorable CS. Clerk, can you confirm that CS Energy is present? Thank you. We will now proceed with question number 001 by the Senator from Marsabit County, the Honorable Mohamed Chute. Honorable Senator, you may proceed to ask the question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My question is question 001. If you'll allow me, I start with question A. Would the Cabinet Secretary explain why Tari Adi, Dub Gindole, Dogogicha, Isako Muro, Ol Gabraskim, Saleswa Rio, Konso Banchale, and other villages in Marsabit County remain without electricity connection despite the installation of electricity transformers in those villages? Question B, what steps has the government taken on operationalization of all electricity transformers installed across Marsabit County? Question number C, would the Cabinet Secretary also indicate the level of access to electricity in Dubgoba, Garkarsa, Wario Duba, Manyata Konso, Karatina, Kofi Ambaya, Parkishon, La Cartiña, Nasikakwe, and in Marsabit County, and explain why the government is doing so, to achieve what is the government doing in achieving full electricity coverage in those villages? Question D, Honorable Speaker, what is the status of requests for installation of electricity transformers and extension of electricity connection in Ilpus, Kituruni, Kubibagasa villages in Marsabit County? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Welcome, Cabinet Secretary, and please you can proceed and answer.
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker. First, for your indulgence, I was supposed to have been here first thing in the morning, but I did agree with my colleague, CS John Mbadi, that we swap the times because he had some other engagement elsewhere. Honorable Speaker, before I go to specific questions raised by the Honorable Senator Mohamed Chute, let me make some general statement that Marsabit County is among those counties, especially in the northern corridor and parts of coastal region, that have for a long time suffered historical marginalization. The county of Marsabit, among other counties in that region, have been left behind by the successive administrations since our independence. And this has made them not to be able to compete effectively with the rest of the country, and especially on matters electrification. And that's why this administration, under President William Ruto, has taken a deliberate step to ensure that affirmative action is applied to bring parity, to achieve equity, insofar as development is concerned generally, but specifically to ensure that matters electrification is dealt with in an equitable manner. Honorable Speaker, therefore this administration has adopted a multi-pronged approach, and specifically for Marsabit County. This entails, first and foremost, ensuring that Marsabit County is connected to the national grid. We want to ensure that Marsabit County is connected to the national grid for the first time since independence. And how? One, by constructing a transmission line 45 kilometers from Loyangalani wind power farm to Loyangalani town. A project that has delayed inordinately, but a project that we are now able to commit that come December this year shall be complete and we shall commission it. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. That will enable Loyangalani town and its environs to enjoy power, quality, affordable, and reliable power for the first time from the national grid. Honorable Speaker, it is not conceivable that power can flow all the way from Loyangalani wind farm, all the way from Loyangalani to Suswa, here in Narok, bypassing the entire swath of Marsabit land. It's not conceivable. And that is what we want to correct under this administration, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, secondly, we want to unlock the very, very important transmission line project that runs all the way from Loyangalani to Marsabit and equally from Isiolo to Marsabit. By doing so, we shall actually make it possible for power from the national grid to extend to most parts of Marsabit County. That project, which is being financed by Exim Bank of India, is at the tail end of actually conceptualization. What has delayed it a bit is just the matter of the scoping, which had to happen. And we are more than convinced, because as we speak, Exim Bank is going through the paperwork. And we are more than convinced that before the end of this year, we shall do a groundbreaking. That is another commitment I want to make to not only Senator Mohamed Chute and not only the people of Marsabit County, but to the people of the Great Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Marsabit County, which is comprising of 4 constituencies, that is Saku, Moyale, North Hor, and Laisamis, has got one of the most interesting disparities, if I may call it so. Because in terms of access to electricity, Saku, because of its sheer size, it's the smallest of the constituencies, is seen to be having a high access, about 60-something%. Yet, when you go to the extreme side, extreme end, North Hor and Laisamis, it is 1.2% and 1.8% access rate. That is serious, massive disparity that this administration has made deliberate plans to address through the efforts we have put in place. Honorable Speaker, Marsabit County has been deliberately placed among the 14 counties that are benefiting from the Kenya Off-Grid Solar Access Program or project, the COSAP. And Marsabit County alone has benefited or is benefiting from about 1 billion shilling worth of those projects, about 10 mini-grids covering across the width and breadth of the county, okay? And some 6 or so boreholes, Honorable Speaker. So allow me, therefore, and I've already spoken to my good friend, the Honorable Senator, Mohamed Chute, that I will be engaging him further, offline, over and above this formal presentation. I will be engaging him further, together with other leaders from the county, to ensure that we fast-track these projects. That is one of the commitments that I have to make before this Honorable House. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, allow me, and I don't want to actually belabor the point, because I have already submitted the answers. On question number 1, which is question 60 what? In the order paper. Okay. That's fine. I'll just proceed. in terms of reasons why those areas that have been listed, okay, remain without electricity connection, despite the installation of electricity transformers in the said villages. Honorable Speaker, REREC, which is our implementing agency, has mapped out and undertaken preliminary works, that is survey and design, of a number of the areas for the implementation in the current financial year, and others for consideration in the next financial year, of course, subject to budgetary provisions. And details of the actual status of the areas are shown in the table 1 in my response. I don't want to belabor that. Honorable Speaker, part 2, the steps the government is taking to operationalize all the electricity transformers installed across Marsabit County. I want to say that a total of 8 schemes are in different stages of metering in the county. And upon completion, approximately 800 customers will be onboarded. And all the associated transformers will be commissioned in order to realize the benefits anticipated by the government of Kenya. In addition, some parts of Marsabit County have witnessed insecurity cases, which has caused movement of people and hence leaving the already installed transformers fairly idle. The government is engaging various stakeholders to foster peace and restore normalcy. Part 3 is about access levels of electricity to those areas mentioned in that question, okay? And what the government is doing to achieve full electricity coverage in those villages. Again, in line with what I've said in my opening remarks, Honorable Speaker, the status of electrification and electricity access in the above villages is as shown in table 2 of my response, Honorable Speaker. The identification, scoping, and electrification of unelectrified areas is an ongoing activity until universal electricity access is achieved. We don't want a situation where we talk about universal access by 2028 or 2030, Honorable Speaker. And yet, many parts of the country, especially from northern Kenya, are left far behind. So that is what we want to correct. Part 4, Honorable Speaker, the status of the request for installation of electricity transformers in those 3 villages. Honorable Speaker, the status of electrification in the above villages is as shown in table 3 of my report, Honorable Speaker. And that is as far as the first question is concerned.
Thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary. Senator Mohammed Chute, would you prefer to ask your second question and then ask supplementaries thereafter? If we can combine the questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me ask my second question, and then I will ask my supplementary questions thereafter. Honorable Speaker, my question number 068. A, why has the last mile connectivity program not been implemented in the entire Marsabit County, despite similar programs being successfully rolled out in most parts of this country? Question B, what steps has the government taken to ensure Loyangalani, Kargi, Kor, Forole, and all other areas in Marsabit County without electricity are connected? C, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on funds allocated for last mile connectivity projects so far in Marsabit County, the contractors involved, and the project timeline for their completion? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Before I respond, let me just make a clarification. I did mention about the transmission line project from Loyangalani to Marsabit and Isiolo Marsabit. It is being financed by the Exim Bank of China, not India. And the company which is contracted is the China Water and Engineering Company. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the first limb of the question is about why the last mile connectivity program has not been implemented in the entire county, despite similar programs being successfully rolled out in most parts of the country. Again, an issue I've talked about at length in my opening remarks. But let me say this, that since the inception of last mile connectivity projects. The government of Kenya has implemented a total of 29 projects worth some Kenya shillings 30.1 million and connected 1,466 customers to the grid in Marsabit County. The details of the connected customers across the various constituencies is as shown in the table 5 of my response. And Annex 1, which is attached, provides the breakdown of ongoing projects in the county. The steps the government is taking to ensure Loyangalani, Kargi, Kor, Forole, and all other areas in Marsabit County without electricity are connected. Again, Honorable Speaker, the status of electrification in the above villages is as shown in Table 4 on page 7 of my response, Honorable Speaker. Part 3, details of the funds allocated for the last mile connectivity projects so far in Marsabit County, the contractors involved, and the projected timelines for their completion. Honorable Speaker, over and above the completed schemes, the government of Kenya has allocated some Kenya shillings 4.5 million for last mile connectivity via grid solution as per the table on page 7. The target completion date is Q1 of the financial year 25-26. The government of Kenya has further allocated Kenya shillings 2.0579 billion, approximately US dollar 158.3 million, for connectivity via off-grid solution, as per the table on page 8. The sites are currently being handed over to the various contractors, and the target completion date is the end of financial year 25-26. The annexures 2 and 6 provide a breakdown of all projects funded in Marsabit County at various stages of implementation. Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary. Senator Chute, supplementary questions?
Honorable Speaker, I'm really impressed by the CS, and I don't have any further supplementary question. I will follow whatever questions I'm going to have. I'll be having a meeting with him, maybe on Tuesday, and thank you very much, Bwana CS. I really appreciate what you've done. You've done a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, just to steal 30 seconds from Senator Chute, that today it was the experts who are coming in the House, and you've seen that in all instances, experts have answered their questions very well to the extent that there is no supplementary questions. But that said, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask the CS for energy on its last mile connectivity project. Is there a proper strategy that integrates the prioritization of projects with areas that are facing serious insecurity and they are remote areas that then needs a bit of lightening to be a bit of lighting those villages and homes to be able to deal with the insecurity? In particular, Mr. Speaker, for Migori County, if you look at an area like Gwitembe, where we have got in Kuria, Mr. Speaker, there is no proper electricity in those areas. If you look at a place called Apida in Migori Town, a place called Mabera in Suna East, Mr. Speaker, as well as a few pockets of areas that I would be very keen on, like Wangirabosa, as well as places in Kokelo, in central Kanyamkago, and lastly in Rongo and Awendo areas. There are places that have got serious pocket of insecurity that I wish that the CS gives us an idea of prioritizing those areas in terms of giving them electricity so that they can be able to improve security in those areas. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Kamau Mrango.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Swali langu ambao litaenda kwa waziri ni moja tu, kwa sababu kama eneo la Gichoko katika Kirinyaga unapata ya kwamba kuna nguzo ziliwekwa miaka 3-4 za stima ambayo haijawahi kamilishwa, kama ile inaitwa Getemani na maeneo mengine katika eneo la Kirinyaga. Sasa nilikuwa nauliza waziri kama hako na mipango ambayo imenakiliwa ya kufanya kuhakikisha kwamba stima zinafika kwa wale ambao wanahitaji stima katika maeneo bunge yote, na kama iko tunafaa tufuatilize wapi? Kwa sababu Mr. Speaker, kama mimi seneta wa Kirinyaga, mimi mwenyewe nililipia transformer miaka 3 iliyoisha. Miaka 3. Maafisa wenye wanafaa kupigiwa simu na kuchukua ili tuweze kufuatilia, wachukuangi simu zetu. Sasa kama mimi mwenyewe nahangaika kupata stima, swali ni mwananchi wa kawaida atawezaje kupata stima? Hiyo ndio swali langu Mr. Speaker.
Senator Senior Counsel Mugeni.
Thank you, Waziri. I wanted to ride on the question by Senator Chute and ask a supplementary question to Waziri. I begin by thanking you. Last time you came to Nyamira, you visited 2 constituencies, West Magrango and Kitutu. I just wanted to know from the Minister, from the CS, whether he has plans to come and finalize the connectivity for Borabu constituency. And the request that was made for an upgrade of phase 1 to phase 3 of Tinderedi region, so that business people are able to have connectivity to their machines and really spur the growth of the economy. Could the CS kindly tell us what plans he has for that particular constituency and that upgrade to phase 3? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And before I put my question to the Honorable CS, it's important, Mr. Speaker, because we are in an honorable house, that we separate things that we say in political areas with what we say here. Because I say that, Mr. Speaker, because Senator Eddie Okech talked about experts. As far as I know, Honorable Opio Wandai is a trained lawyer. He is not an expert in matters energy. And so it is important that we say he's doing a good job without calling him an expert. My question, without calling him an expert, Mr. Speaker, because we are misleading. There are students waiting.
Senator,
there are students here.
Senator.
Yes, Mr.
Senator, I gave you an opportunity to ask
Fine, let me ask my question.
So please just ask the question.
I was just setting the ground. So, Mr. Speaker, my question to the Honorable CS is, and I am very impressed, by the way, by the... Mr. Speaker, can I be heard in silence?
Senator
I'm
Eddie,
very impressed.
Senator Eddie, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing on 105 in terms of the misrepresentation of facts, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, unless John Nyutu has got law degree that the CS for energy got without my knowledge, I would want him to go and learn about his CSS, to understand their background, to understand why we call them experts, to understand their experiences coming into the position that they are, Mr. Speaker. And I don't want us to go under 101 where you discuss the persona of the CS in terms of his qualification, but I can assure John Nyutu that the CS expert does not come only by education, but it also comes by experience and contribution in other dockets that the CS has served in. CS Wanda is an expert in energy in terms of being able to ensure that all communities get those energy supplies, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Joe Nyutu. Please restrain yourself to just asking your supplementary question. We don't
Thank
have
you,
much
Mr. Speaker,
time.
but you know I have a right of reply.
No,
I want to assure Senator Eddie, I hold a degree.
Senator Joe Nyutu,
Okay,
Senator
fine,
Joe
Mr.
Nyutu,
Speaker.
if you open
Let me
that
ask my
door,
question then.
Thank you.
Let me ask my question then. But Mr. Speaker, it's important that you do not take a teacher to an operation room and call him an expert when he's not a medic. But Mr. Speaker, my question was, Mr. Speaker, my issue was with the, and I'm very impressed, by the way, by the job that Opio and I, the CS, is doing. That is not in doubt. The only problem I had, Mr. Speaker, was with misleading students.
Okay, Senator,
so my
just ask your
is,
question.
My issue then is, Mr. Speaker, that with the very good program that the CS has put, especially about Marsabit County and the larger northeastern region, Mr. Speaker, we all support that. But then my question to him would be, because there are regions in this country that are thought to be advantaged. But in those regions, Mr. Speaker, there are people, for example, who are not connected to power. So then my question to the CS is, what are the plans by the ministry to see to it that even as we do affirmative action in the regions that have been disadvantaged, that we also connect power to those in the regions wrongly thought to be connected, all of them. So what is the plan? Because the plan must be for all Kenyans, not just for some regions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Hezena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I know that I appreciate Waziri for the good job that he's doing. And as far as you know, that I like that you have really focused on the north, but particularly just one county and forgetting that the north has almost 10 counties. Particularly in Samburu County, you know that we have had serious cases of insecurity, and we appreciate the current administration for giving us a tarmac road from Maralal to Baragoi. But I would like to know, are there plans put in place by your ministry to ensure that we have electricity connectivity within Samburu North to make sure that we open up the region for trade and to make Samburu County an area that is worthy to be pursued by investors, and also to restore education and security in the region? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hezena. Senator Hezena, for your information, the question posed by Senator Chute was in regards to Marsabit. So the CS was not ignoring any other region in the country. He was addressing the question put by Senator Mohamed Chute. No, it's okay, Hezena. I was just informing you. Thank you. Senator Mariam Sheikh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I thank Waziri for the work he's doing. Mr. Speaker, the plan he has demonstrated to the House, to Marsabit County, Mr. Speaker, for the plan, which end up Senator Chute to not having an additional questions. My question is, Mr. Speaker, what is the plan? Because the ministry has had the cry from Mandera many times, Mr. Speaker. So what is the plan? And is it in the current budget, Mandera to be connected to national grid, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
Senator Beatrice Akenyi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to congratulate the CS, whom we call in our region and in other regions that have worked with him as an intellectual. And indeed, Senator Nyutru, he is. And that is why our side of the coalition donated him to government to do that kind of work. But my question is this, Honorable Speaker. Just last week, Honorable Speaker, just last week, when we had Madaraka in Homa Bay County, the CS did very commendable work. He launched the last mile connectivity of the county in my own constituency, in Dewa constituency. My question to the CS is, Mr. CS, can I get an assurance from you that all those facilities we launched at Ochol on the day the president was there, that Ndewa will be taken care of in terms of last mile connectivity? I'm saying this, Mr. CS, because Homa Bay County has had the highest number of faulty transformers in this republic, which goes down to Ndewa as a sub-county. So all that you launched at Ochol, Can we get an assurance from you as they were constituents that the transformer issues and last mile connectivity challenges will be tackled so that we are not just used as a launching pad and no services are given?
Thank you, Beatrice. And to correct you, it is not Mr. CS, Honorable CS. And in your case, you should be Honorable Expert CS. Thank you. Senator Mungatana, last question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was a time we were engaging as senators in our committee with members of the Chamber of Commerce, and I asked them, why is it that you don't encourage your people to come and put industries in Tana River County? We have a lot of land, and we can give you certain facilitation from the county government so that you can erect industries. Mr. Speaker, the answer was very simple. There is no power to support industrialization in Tana River County. So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask the minister, as I congratulate him in considering Marsabit and the plans they have, what other plans does he have for this northern coast area beyond Malindi? Because the line we have can only be for domestic consumption. It cannot support any form of industry. So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to hear from him what he can do so that our people can also have in Tana River opportunity to get industries that will come there and to create jobs for our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Cabinet Secretary, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll go straight to the questions. First is the question by Honorable Senator Eddie Okech